Welcome to Tapestry with Miriam on Fusion Channel. As we celebrate Black History Month, we have decided to celebrate selective women, and we're speaking to some amazing women here. And one amazing woman who's here is Stephanie Harpe. She is very passionate international advocate that advocates for missing and murdered women and people, right? You do that?
Yes.
And exploited indigenous peoples. Thank you so much for coming, Stephanie, to our studio today. I really appreciate that you're here. She's actually my sister. First of all, I'm just liking the ensemble here, whatever you're wearing. What is it? Can you just tell us what you're wearing here?
So this is my advocacy jacket that I got from the Res Life company.
Yeah.
I was at the K-Days Indigenous Experience performing with my band, and we had some advocacy songs. And they found out who I was and said, "We want you to have this jacket." And I said, "Well, I have pins of advocacy that I need on this jacket." So, I gave them all the pins, and I said, "Put the pins on the jacket, and I'll wear it while I perform on stage." And that came to be. And so this is the new advocacy jacket. I have much more to add to the sleeves, to the sides, to the back. But the main thing it says on the back is burn sage, sweetgrass, and the Indian Act, because it just needs to be for us to have any kind of anti-racist foundation to build reconciliation on with this country. So hopefully they will one day do that. And these are all advocacy pins of different causes. And I've been gifted these from Indigenous people all over Canada.
Wow.
And some non-Indigenous people and people of our community, because they just wanted their advocacy and their voices heard and seen, and that they matter. And plus, I was, transferring a lot of pins every night that I'd have to go out to do these things.
Yeah.
And so I was transferring a lot of pins. So I thought, I'm just going to have one jacket of it all collected. And people haven't asked me questions about it ever since.
Good, good.
Yeah.
So before we even get into our conversations today with selective women that we have decided to talk to, because our community, we have a lot to kind of get out to the people and make sure people are aware of things like what you do. A lot of people are not aware. Sometimes, if they don't follow you, they're not going to be aware. Who is Stephanie Harpe before we can even start?
Well, I'm your friend and your sister to start off.
Yeah.
And I'm really honored to be here and to be working with you again. I just want to start there. Thank you for having me. So I am a international advocate for the voice of Indigenous peoples that don't have one, for their survival, their security. We, still don't know what human rights are. We still don't know what justice is. Still trying to fight for that and maybe experience that one day. So also I talk about human trafficking, sexual exploitation of a population of people, excluding children. And it's just really important to be talking about these things, because Indigenous people are the highest rate of everything awful in this country, and we are very, very hunted and targeted population, because this country finds us and holds us as disposable and forgotten and invisible peoples. So we are still trying to fight for all of that, and the fight goes on, because we just need everybody to have that understanding and awareness of Indigenous truth, of what really happened with this country, what really happened with the church, what really happened with the military, and what they did to Indigenous people across the country. So what's really important right now is that the count still goes on, that we're still finding the children in the ground. So that is defining to who we are and what we've survived. So, I've been a part of every huge national coalition of change. I've also done keynotes for United Nations. I've talked to this planet. And I've seen a lot of other populations and our tribes and our creeds and our people all over the world go through this in some form. And so that's important in defining of the world that we're in. including the safety and security, mental health. In an overpopulated world, mental health is an issue.
Yes.
So that's a big thing that we have to talk about now. But the survival of Indigenous people, we still don't have clean water. You know, we still don't have these things. It's getting really ridiculous. The average child suffers with 85% and everything before Dr. Cindy Blackstock did what she did for the Jordan's Principle and fighting the federal government. So I just really think that it's important that we talk about those people who have made those changes and fought against the grain for change, because it's not always safe to be in the front lines, especially what the government did to a lot of our advocates and a lot of our grassroots people. But what they continue to do and not do for Indigenous people and all Canadians. It's important that all Canadians know Indigenous truth, survival, and how we can move forward together, because the urgency of unity is now.
It is now. It is now. I've followed your work, and I've gone through most of the, your social media, and I know I've spoken to you most of the time. You are very, very passionate about this. What was your motivation for advocacy?
My motivation was my mother was murdered here in Edmonton in 1999, and the police did nothing. And the man who in the file was described as a stalker, and he got to walk. He got to get away with it. That broke me. That broke me. So I went into a deep, dark addiction, depression. I survived a lot of these Edmonton streets. So I almost died several times. And so close to death, not realizing my gifts and my worth and the love that I had for myself and others at the time. So after she was murdered, some of my friends' bodies were popping up around the city, and this was words that the media used popping up. And I couldn't believe it. I was so disgraced in what the media was sharing and how they were using that word. And so why would they use that word? And that stayed with me forever. And then also, I'm a murder attempt survivor. And when we phoned the police, they asked for my nationality, and then they never came. So when they knew I was Indigenous, I was back then Aboriginal, we were using the word Aboriginal, they never came. They never came. And so that was really big defining moments, that we were less than, that we weren't cared about, that we weren't, we were just forgotten, that we weren't important. But the thing was, they've done all of this to us for the control of land, what's on top of it, what's below it, and the control of water. We don't have clean water, but places like entities of profit like Nestle and all these other evil corporations can come here and get all the free water they want with back lobbyist approach and profit. So, you know, that's really difficult for us. So we're still in the fight. We're still in the front lines. We still have to rally. We still have to march. We still have to do all these things. And it's just not fair. Even though they're giving us this so-called funding and money, it's still a slap in the face continued to be what we don't have. So people don't understand that that defines everything, that we're well aware of what we have to do, us people in action that are on the ground with the people. We continue to be unsupported and independent. So I think it's really important that people start to see that we need to be together and support one another, even when it comes to financially, when we want to do events or awareness or any kinds of things like that, that we stay as independent and community-wise as much as we possibly can.
Yeah. Now, I want to take you back to where you said you heard the media say pop up. Did you ever follow up or maybe write a petition to the media or to whoever to make sure that the usage of that word was somehow there was some, it wasn't, used in a reckless way?
I have a love-hate relationship with the media, and they are well aware. When we did I was a part of the public testimony for the National Inquiry. Now, when we did that, we did mention media being more accountable. So the calls to justice went out, but they're calls. And we proved genocide. We proved oppression. We proved systematic racism. Nothing made lawful. Nothing. Nothing made lawful. Again, here we sit, right? So hopefully we've changed some of the controlled media, but the government's agenda controls most of the media now.
Wow, that is deep and very sad. I'm so sorry for the death of your mom. That made you strong, and you continue to advocate for murdered people, and that's really a very good thing that you're doing there. Thank you for that. What is the process like? I know you're doing maybe rescuing and missing, and if, for example, it's favorable in a way that you find the person, what is the process of rehabilitation?
Well, they have to be around family. They have to be around supports. They have to know what their resources are to them, and we provide that for families. We have the Stolen Sisters Brothers movement. We have Victims of Crimes Circle for survivors. There's a lot of other resources out there. We have the National Hope for Wellness Hotline for our people, and we have the Missing Children Society of Canada, which is helping 2,900 children return home to their families. So the rescue app is really, really important. We're trying to share that with all families of missing children, especially children who are Indigenous and children of color, because they don't get the Amber Alerts and the attention that they're supposed to get.
Yeah.
So we have something under Amber Alert that's actually working. So those are the kinds of resources we want everyone to know about and to share.
Yes.
And so also we as advocates on the ground who are grassroots, we take those phone calls in the middle of the night. We take those phone calls during the day. We take those phone calls in the evening. If that's what they need, that's what we're there for. And they just want someone to talk to that knows how they feel, knows and understands what they survived. People who are educated or research, the connection is not there. People who have lived and survived what they survived, it's survivor to survival. The connection is instant. So that's already the strengthened foundation to build the trust, because the trust has to be built first. Then maybe we can reach them enough to help them.
Yeah. What are some of the organizations you work with and the government's role in this, what you do?
Not much at all. There's nothing. Can't trust, right? So here's the thing. Minister Rick Wilson is giving monies to healing camps that I've been doing, and I've had troubles trying to see any change still. So I'm just waiting on that. I'm trying to heal my people best I can with the resources that I can get. So there's not a lot of that kind of funding or governmental connection with me at all. So I want to make sure that we continue the work as independently as we can.
Okay.
And there's certain organizations like Fort McKay First Nation. They're the ones that are putting me at the forefront,
like helping.
and helping me do my job. I work for them, so they give me that tax-free, that government-free, not under implementation, not under control, not muzzled. I'm free to do the work. I'm free to do the work. So that's really important to me. That's really important to me, that my nation says, okay, we want you to come home to do the work. We want you to come and change the region around our community, and then also go out and help everyone that you possibly can. So really important to have that beautiful, supportive nation and leadership. So they're a part of, big part of that. And then I also work with Samson Cree Nation as well. So they're a big part of that, where they want me to come and help the community and come and help all that area, because they have the highest rate of murdered and missing, though the lowest population for Indigenous communities in central Alberta. So I think that's really, really important to mention too, that, you know, they have a crisis on their hands. And also for McMurray, I do a lot of work there as well. And one of the major hot spots of Alberta when it comes to men's mental health, and human trafficking and sexual exploitation, and all of the nightlife and nighttime survival is there. So you know, really trying to incorporate that kind of safety. So there's a lot of communities and a lot of leadership just want that change. So a whole town and all these communities and this whole region is trying for change together. So we're just going to try to do the work as much as we can. So I'm just really thankful to Fort McKay First Nation for allowing me to be free and employing me to be free.
Oh, that's very good. Now, how much awareness? I know you talked about safety, and human trafficking, and just the whole lot of things around that. How much of that is for, like, in the communities within the Indigenous communities? How much awareness is there for making sure that people know about their safety, people know about there's human trafficking? Where can you go? And if is it at night? You don't have to go in the night. You don't have to go somewhere in the night because you are probably vulnerable at that time. So how much of that awareness is in the communities right now?
Well, I'm at my 60th community. And in 2019, I traveled to 32 that year. So it's out there. They have me coming out. They speak to me. They have me come out a lot, like a lot. So now it's online. It's been online for the last few years. We're just now coming back to life, and it's everywhere. They're seeking it. They're aware of it. They just need more tools.
Yes.
To just execute it, build it, and then make sure everyone has that information. So yeah, it's out there. Because they keep calling me. They keep calling me.
Yes.
I'm a busy woman. Like I just came in from out of town, came here, right? So they're aware and they want it and they have the truth. It's just they want, and we want more non-Indigenous Canadians to know what we're surviving right now.
That's very good. Now, this is very interesting because how you're working with these communities and making sure everyone is aware and safe. What are the statistics from when you started and where you are at the moment?
That's a really good question. Good question. Okay, so as a residential school survivor, when I shared my story before they found the 215 in Kamloops, before they found the children in the ground and found the ground penetrating radar evidence to the world, it was different. It was different. Everything was different. No one believed us. No one believed me when I came up with my residential school story with CBC. So CBC helped me cover the murder of my mother and that truth, and the police came after me for it. And then I had to stand up against them. And then, they helped me share that truth of my residential school survival. And that was released years before the 215. And then people were like, didn't believe me, called me a liar, saying I wanted attention, saying this, saying that. And then all of a sudden the 215 came out And all those people came back to me and said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't believe you. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I'm sorry that you had to survive that as a child.
And that was just last year, right?
Right, and that was just
the other year.
Yeah, that was just recently, you know.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, that's the difference. Now the world knows the 215 defined the change, and the count still goes on. We are still finding children, and I believe we're over 11 to 12,000 children right now, and the count's still going. So now the world knows what happened, but it's defining is what they don't do. It's dying down. That truth, we can't let anybody forget that this is what happened here. And this is why, when you see an Indigenous person in survival, now you understand why. Because the why is so important. That's the truth. So now things have shifted and changed to where people want to know our truth. So I've been elevated in the spaces I never thought I would ever be until I was an old woman. And I'm really, really happy to say that I have a lot of non-Indigenous entities and, workplaces that want me to come and train and just give them that truth.
That's very good.
And I'm really, really happy to say that I've been treated differently as well these last few years. And so I'm really thankful for that, but I just wish that we could reach everybody, and I just wish for everyone to lead in love, because that's what it's going to take to change all of this.
Yes.
Is unity and love.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you for that. And thank you for all you do. This month is Black History Month, right? And we celebrate in our communities, and especially the Black community, we celebrate some lows and highs and, challenges and some positive things that, we can look at and say this has happened and it's good. As an Indigenous woman, how do you relate to Black History Month?
So it's important. It's defining. I've done my research. I know exactly what went on, and the survival is not very different. It's just the area,
Yes.
right? And we have many of the Black community here in Alberta who had settled land, they had farming land, they tried to do everything that they could to remain, and then we have everything that had happened to the south of us, which was defining for our whole world and all the community. And I think that the attention to what has been captured of one of your Black men captured on film being murdered. So I think that was really, really defining to where we don't have it on video, but we, navigate through that every single day and try to hold accountable all of these entities that try to still not protect, not serve, not care about, remain voiceless and in poverty, remain fighting amongst each other, remain in our own, self-despair. So the ghetto ain't far from the res. The ghetto ain't far from the res.
Yeah.
And that's everything that we had to navigate through, the trauma and survival of colonialism. And that's everywhere. All our people, all our tribes, all our creeds, all the original peoples have to survive that. And, look what's happening in all over the world, what's happening in Haiti, what's happening in Africa, what's happening to all that injustice, all that survival, it's still happening today. So where are we at? We need to draw attention to it. We need to be together on it. We need to understand that our connection is greater than everyone knows. And if we just came together in this common understanding of survival, I think that's going to change everything once we kind of, understand each other and have this education and connection that you're creating now.
Yeah, and I think that it's very important because I think you've talked about it. Because my next question was, how can we best work together in this situation? I don't know if you have any additional comments on that, but it's important that we come together, every one of us, whether white, black, whatever, we work together for for the love of unity, and so that we can be able to follow through and have our children be safe, seniors, senior safety, and everyone else around. And I really appreciate that, you came in today. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is your band. Are you still,
Yes, I
having
am. My band is really hitting it kind of big here. So I'm really glad that you asked because we were just going to go out to celebrate.
Yeah.
So what happened was my band, I got some new band members since I've seen you last.
Yeah.
Some really professional, amazing men. So I have Royce Rack on lead guitar now. I have Andrew Jan on rhythm guitar. I have Trevor Bigham on drums. I have Steve Farrell on the bass, and then sometimes we have our sweet friend and bandmate Slava Fedosenko. So this band has now created a new sound, and we've put some of our advocacy into the music.
Oh, nice.
So it's been really, really incredible, and I think that really, really drawed a lot more attention to us, that people wanted truth. So we've written more of the topics that I'm kind of, working in and surviving in still today, right? Because these are not things that are gone away. These are things that are still here. There's still genocide, there's still oppression, there's still systematic racism. So we were talking about all of that in our new music as well. So the band got a call from Nashville, from Trickstar. We played the Northlands Racetrack 2 years in a row. It was only me and 5440 were the only two bands to ask to come back.
Wow.
So a great historical Canadian band right there. So we've had that honor, and we won View Weekly Best of Edmonton before they had retired their magazine. The City of Edmonton voted us third runner-up for Best Local Band, voted by the City of Edmonton, by the people. So that's something I always bring up because it's very, really special to me. And then, nominated at the Edmonton Music Awards, and then all of a sudden, recently here with these new guys, there's just a lot of things been happening. And then we got some great positive attention from some higher ups. And then now we're working with classic rock. And we've been opening up for the biggest names in music.
Oh, wow.
For since the inception of the band.
Yes.
Being discovered by Jeff Healey. And Jeff Healey, one of the greatest guitar heroes of the world, who unfortunately died from cancer. He's the one that discovered me and mentored this band. So we've been working independently with my husband Jeff and myself, but this new band kind of take us over the edge because over the edge of success and a new professional sound to where the Junos just got a hold of us. So we're doing the Road to the Junos event March 9th here in Edmonton at the Soho. So we're going to be doing that. And then we also got invited to a private fireside conversation with the CEO of the Junos, Alan Reed. And then also we got asked by CBC Music and the Juno hosting committee to come and be guests at some of their shows as guests and to navigate and to connect and everything like that. So the elevation has been really, really amazing and supportive. And I'm so honored that our music, our new music, our new sound, our new message has been embraced by so.
Wow, amazing. To our viewers, this is our amazing Stephanie Harpe, and I'm really glad you came and you shared your story. We want to do this more with you again. I think that I want the viewers to know about where they can find you, how can they follow you, whether it's your band because you're telling a story, whether it's your advocacy with missing and murdered people. Where can they find you and how they,
So I'm on TikTok under my name, and then also Instagram, but Harpe Stephanie, so it's backwards. Facebook. And then also the Stephanie Harpe Experience has a Facebook page. But the thing is, I'm so busy being on the ground with the people all
Yeah.
the time and
Yeah.
writing new music, that I'm trying to get this really, really better online presence. So yeah, you find me under Stephanie Harpe on Facebook, but also I started a new page, Stephanie Harpe and the Indigenous Voice. We have a new page on Facebook that we're trying to
Okay.
recruit everybody with. And then also, you know, I'm working with a great friend of mine, Kitania. She's going to be helping us push a lot of you know, content forward that's really,
Yes.
really important, really, really needed.
Yes.
But the TED Talk is important because it's been used by schools and children and like people all over the world. So we really want to get that out there, and that's the important tool. But the music, the new music will be out here pretty soon. We're going to start
nice.
recording here right away,
Yeah.
and so you can find us under Stephanie Harpe Experience, you know, and find us on YouTube and dig us out there.
Oh, nice, nice. Thank you so much. Again, this is Tapestry with Miriam on Fuse End channel, and we just want our viewers to know that, you know, we are here at the studio in the West End, West Edmonton area, and we want to just thank you for what you're doing and everything that you're. And again, happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month.